Why is it so easy for some people to manifest money and manifest several things into their lives and so much harder for others? That's going to be today's question on Mystical Journeys with Jase. Hello, everybody. I'm going to tell you a little story. A long time ago, there was a little boy. His name was Jase. When Jase was little, he loved to share all his toys with people. He even let people borrow them for a day or two at a time. One day, one of his friends said to him, "Here, bud, I'm going to give you an ice cream cone since I'm getting one." That little boy named Jase went home and told his mom about it. He said, "Hey, Mom, my friend Eric gave me an ice cream cone." And his mother got incredibly angry at him and said, "Look, if he gave you an ice cream cone, you have to buy him one tomorrow. I don't have money for that ice cream cone, but now I have to give it to you so you can give him one tomorrow." So the little boy felt really sad. He went to school the following day, was very upset and very scared because he thought for sure he had done something wrong. After school, he forced his friend to go with him to the local shopping mart and bought him an ice cream cone, even when his little friend didn't want it. He went ahead and gave him the ice cream cone, and his friend Eric went home probably about as confused as Jace was. As this little boy got older, the programming that was like that kept getting more and more reinforced. There were times when, if he had something he was really proud of, he had to share half of it with a relative, or he was forced to share it with others. Little by little, that little boy learned that he always had to give more to others than to himself. Learned to give away too much of his own energy for too long. And pretty soon, at some point at the early part of his life, he had all kinds of money problems. Let's go ahead and talk about different perspectives. Different people attribute success in different ways. If you've got a certain amount of money, some people think you're more successful than somebody with less. But the biggest problem here is it all starts in mindset. What matters more is how you feel about your own abundance, not how much you allow other people to dictate that feeling to you. I gave the example of a little boy a moment ago. Yep, that's actually me. That's how I was brought up. When you were younger, it's easy to grow up into an environment where your parents teach you that it's not okay to receive things. So you learn an association that receiving is bad. Somebody tells you that you should look nice today, and you end up dismissing it or arguing with them. Somebody tells you they think you deserve a certain award, and you disagree with them and say you don't think you're ready for it. Sometimes you go to a religious establishment and they tell you the only way you're going to make it to the hereafter is if you give away half of everything you own. Otherwise, you're just not going to make it. Well, there goes some fear attached to some things. One of the important things to notice is most of us are carrying other people's perspectives about what manifesting means, about receiving money or receiving abundance. And there's always some condition that's attached to it. It's like if you find a coin on the ground first that's like face down, now you can't pick it up because guess what? That's supposed to be unlucky. Who says that, Jazz? That is ridiculous. So, my point is this. One of the first things you have to do is notice that everybody has their own perspective about manifesting and having abundance into their lives. And fear and belief tend to work hand in hand with that perspective. Here's a couple things I've learned about manifesting. First, when you're trying to manifest something, you first have to agree to receiving it. That's number one. If you feel you don't deserve to have things, you're putting blockers right in front of your own life, putting blockers in front of getting a new job. You're putting blockers in front of any abundance flowing to you. Second, you have to let go of the discomfort when people say that they want to do something nice for you. Let that be okay. Here's an easy thing you can say when somebody offers to buy you lunch. Are you sure about that? And if they still say yes, stop interfering with them. I once said this to an elder. He did so much for his group, constantly giving, and I mean everything. And he didn't even have enough money to cover his own medical bills. One day I said to him, we were arguing about the fact that he wouldn't accept help from others. I said to him that, do you realize that by not accepting the help of others, you are interfering with their lesson of giving? Sit with that for a moment. When you don't accept the help of others, you also interfere with their lesson of giving. Think about that for a second. Later on, that same elder took my advice and started to let his clan help him. He started letting his family help him. Little by little, he got himself out of debt. He even got his van fixed, and his life got a good bit better. And everybody that was around him was happy to help him. Here's a second story. A long time ago, I was trying to buy a house. I spent the entire year looking at the picture of the house that I wanted. To make a long story short, I got the house. But here's what I realized after a year. I never saw myself in the picture with the house. No matter how much I wanted it, I never put myself in that picture. One day, when I put myself in that picture with that house showed up within a couple of weeks. So when you set your mind to seeing yourself in the picture, it helps the quantum effect to start to draw that house or that situation into your life. Think about it. You can have all the vision boards in the world, but if you don't see yourself with that vision, it just sits out there in the universe somewhere going nowhere. Think about when you picture yourself in a new outfit. You see yourself in it. You go buy it. And how do you feel? Pretty good. Seeing yourself in the picture with things actually helps to bring the thing into being. There's a podcast listener I mentioned about in an earlier episode. She was trying to manifest a trip. One of the things I had told her was you have to see everything about that trip, including the struggle to get on the aircraft, hurrying to pack your bags, wondering if you've got enough money to buy some food at the airport. The more that you put your thinking and your energy into the thing you're trying to reach, the easier it is to move in that direction. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to be a multi-billionaire, and I'm pretty lucky because I've talked to quite a few of these guys, one of the main things is this: you have to set your life in motion to be receptive to a creative idea or the drive to push towards something. You see yourself doing that thing every day, and eventually the money follows. It's as simple as that. I'm going to give you two exercises right now, plus one story to inspire you. Exercise 1. Close your eyes for a moment. Pretend you're out to lunch with a friend, and your friend says, "Hey, I'll take care of lunch today." How does that make you feel? Take a look at some of those thoughts. Listen to what that programming is trying to say to you. It might be arguing with you at this moment. Let those thoughts go. Now, in place of those thoughts, visualize yourself just saying to that person a simple thank you. Don't go out of your way to do 100 extra things for that person in return. That just upsets the energy as well. Just be thankful. Sit there. Enjoy the lunch. Have a great conversation, and you'll notice how you feel afterwards. You feel pretty good. You're smiling. They're smiling. They're glad they got to treat you. Sit with that. This is about letting go of the programming that says you don't deserve help from anybody else. Exercise 2. Close your eyes again and speak this out loud. I unconditionally accept any abundance that I'm focusing my thoughts on. I focus now on attracting wealth to me, and I accept it with gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Test these out this week, okay? Test them both out. See what abundance comes in once you clear out the resistant thinking and let things flow. I once took a challenge from a bunch of friends. I cleared off an entire bookcase and I decided to let whatever anyone wanted to give me be placed upon it. A few weeks later, that bookcase was completely filled. I'm just going to give a small example of this. I was in the Chicago airport and there was a religious group that was singing and handing out pamphlets. The gentleman who was smiling gave me a pamphlet. I said, "Thank you." And he said, "Would you like another?" "I'm going to stay out of my own way." "Sure, and thank you." And accepted a few more. I did that because I was practicing to let the flow of receptivity come in. And you know what? With that guy, I had a wonderful conversation with him. So even that was a nice gift of abundance. Okay. So if that wasn't good enough when I showed it to my friend said to me, "Well, you know what? We're going to give you a real challenge. Let's see if you can manifest a trip to Australia." Okay. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is. Actually, that's not a bad pun. All right. So what I did was I put myself in a state where no matter what abundance showed up, I was going to let it in. No matter what I had to do to make that abundance happen, I was willing to go forward and do it. And I decided to let the universe show me how it can speak to me that month. All right. So let's take a look at the things that happened. I got invited to work 2 weeks of overtime. And yeah, got to admit, a little bit of work. But you know what? That extra money that came in was about $1,000. Then I took my car in for repairs, and the mechanic said to me, "Hey, you know what? A couple of months ago, you helped me out with my computer. This one's on the house." I was like, "Holy cats, really?" And I asked him, I said, "How much would all of this have cost?" And he said, maybe $200. Don't worry about it." Well, energetically, let's take a look at that. That put me at 1,200. A couple friends invited me out to dinner and I didn't have to pay, which was a stretch for me because I have always been conditioned to pay my own way. I figured this was worth about another $100. All right. 4 days till the end of the month. I got a postcard in the mail, and one of those old travel postcards, the kind you get for trips to Barbados or wherever. Well, this one was a trip to Sydney, Australia for $1,500. I thought, oh my goodness, I've generated $1,300 worth of energy, but I still need 1,500. So I said to the universe, hey, you know what? I still need another 200 bucks in the next couple of days. Help me out because I'm still trying to learn about this. Guess what happened? Next day, a friend came over to me and he was helping me fix something. And he says, hey, you know what? You got these two items at your house. Do you really need both of them? And I started laughing and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was some equipment that I hadn't used in a really long time. And I said, you know what? No, I'm not using them. Go ahead and take them. And he says, no, no, let me pay for you. Let me give you something for them. And I'm kind of like, no, I just caught myself and I realized, hold up. And he says, here you go. And he opens up his wallet. He pulls out two $100 bills. Yes, all of this happened right on target within 1 month, just by letting abundance come to me without stopping it, without any of the old programming, and still focusing on my intention, keeping it focused and moving forward. No matter where the energy was going to be, I moved myself into it. By the way, since so many people ask me about this subject all the time, I'm thinking about putting together an abundance class, maybe up on my website. Feel free to drop me a line on the website. Here's something to think about this week. What are the areas where you're stopping the flow of energy coming towards you? What are the areas where you've given away just too much to a person or a situation? And lastly, when was the last time you actually tried to focus on bringing something good into your life? I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Feel free to share it with somebody who needs it. Like and subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps. You know what, though? This week, I'm going to affirm my own abundance. I'm not going to mention anything else to you. All that I'm going to say is thank you for being here, and I hope you get something out of this.